So what do I have inside of my camera bag? Literally everything. What's going on, everyone? Back with another episode of Stuff and Things, and today we're going to be taking a look at what I have in my camera bag for spring of 2020. Now, as you can probably imagine, camera gear is something that is never really fixed. It's sort of an ever-evolving plethora of tools that I use to make videos and take photos. If I'm being completely honest with you guys, I never really carried a camera bag around. I had some here and there that I tried to sort of like work into the mixture of what I do, and nothing really stuck. For the most part, I just carry around my dedicated camera with a microphone and whatever lens I think would fit best for whatever I'm doing that day. And then if I need anything else like spare batteries, memory cards, filters, maybe some other lenses, I would typically just throw them in my EDC backpack. Now that solution has been working fine for me. However, it becomes an issue when you throw traveling into the mix. When it comes to that, I then have to sort of consolidate everything into a small pile of what I think I will need for that trip, and I end up just sort of like smashing things together. I'll end up forgetting stuff at home, or I'll realize that I brought the wrong lens. I'm dropping all of this gear in bags intertwined with everything else, and there was no real good solution that I had found that sort of merged traveling with like clothing and essentials, and then mixing that with camera gear. For the most part, I have been using some things like this. These are little travel camera inserts by Incase, and these things have been great. I can drop these into an EDC backpack, or in my case, when I'm traveling around in the van, I have two of these bags that are identical in size, and I can load this thing up with all of my camera gear and keep them in one of my cabinets inside the van. This is really a simple solution for storing all of your gear, keeping it in one nice place, and then if I want to grab it and run, it's very easy to do that. This solution was working fine for me, having two of these bags. However, something just showed up in the mail, and I believe that this right here is a better solution. This right here is a gift that I received from my friend Peter Mckinnon, and it is his signature camera bag in collaboration with Nomatic. I literally just opened this bag and the whole bundle that it came with, and I started loading out all of my camera gear in here, and it made me think I haven't done a gear update video in a while, so hence this video. Now, from a very first hands-on impression, this bag is so sick, and I'm excited to show you guys. I honestly think that this bag deserves a video of its own, so maybe after using it for a month or so, I will come back and revisit this and give you my impressions of the bag after actually using it. But for now, we'll just highlight some of the features as I go through this thing and show you what is inside of it now. So what do I have inside of my camera bag? Literally everything. Every single piece of camera gear that I own right now is in this bag, and anything that did not make it into this bag could literally poof, vanish, disappear, and I would be completely okay with it. I have absolutely everything that I need in this bag to do what I do, and then some. This is honestly a little bit overkill for the type of videos that I make, but we'll talk about that more as we go through all the gear. So first up, looking at the outer shell of this bag, it's made out of this like super rigid, water resistant type of material. There's some MOLLE type of webbing along the front. And the first pocket that we're greeted with right here is just a quick access dump pocket. This is gonna be good for your pocket knife, your phone, wallet, keys, all of that good stuff. Nice and simple, keeps things safe in there. You have Pete's signature and the Nomatic branding down here on this metal tag. You'll notice that all over this bag, everything is metal, including the little zipper pulls. Typically this would be made out of like plastic or a rubber material, and this is like metal piping. Now moving around to the sides of the bag, on this side we have a quick access pouch which gives you access to the camera gear inside, which is why you're watching this video. And then we also have some more MOLLE cutouts and big handle straps everywhere you look at this thing. This is very heavy right now, loaded out with everything that I have in here, but these handle straps found all over the bag will help you move this thing around pretty easily. On the opposite side over here, we're already starting to get into the gear. I have a Joby GorillaPod. This is a very specific one. These are metal connections here. It's not plastic, so they're not going to pop off and break on you. I've had really good luck with these, and I highly recommend them. By the way, if you see any gear here that you want more information on, I will try to leave links in the description down below. I'm not gonna go super into depth on every single thing in here, but I will show you, and I will leave links for you to check it out for yourself. Now, this is basically like a water bottle pocket, but it works good for a little Joby GorillaPod like that, and when you're not using it, it folds up nice and tight, keeps things tidy with magnets. You'll notice the use of magnets quite a bit when we go over the rest of this bag. And then finally for the outside, on the back here, we have some super thick padded straps. You may notice Pete's Pirate Life logo in the middle there. It's got a sternum strap, which is adjustable. It has one of these pockets right here, so you could slide this on top of a suitcase if you wanted to. And then there's also a waist strap that is held in place with Velcro. I personally do not like those, so it was super easy to remove. I simply just pulled it right out. No need for cutting, no need for permanently modifying the bag. Everything was nice and simple. You have adjustable straps up here if you wanted to mount something like maybe a bigger tripod through there. There are so many little straps and modular pieces to this bag that you can do so many things with. Now moving on to the actual contents of this bag, right in the back panel here, I have a 15-inch MacBook Pro. This is what I do all of my video editing with right here. That's not something that I would typically carry with me every day. However, if I'm packing this bag out to go on a trip, I obviously need that stuff to make videos. This seems to be super padded, which will keep whatever you put in there nice and safe, but also keeps it really comfortable on your back. Feels like it'll be comfortable, but I'll report back once I actually get around to using this thing in the real world. And now for the good stuff, getting inside of this bag. The table that I'm working on right here is pretty tiny, so I'll give you guys a look at this and then I will set the bag to the side and we'll pull out all of the contents. This is a beautiful flat lay back loading bag and I love bags like this. Oof, look at all that gear. So in no particular order, I'm gonna move this bag to the floor and we're just gonna start pulling gear out of here and displaying it on the table in front of me. First up, on the internal flap, there's a Velcro closure, and in there I keep an iPad Pro. This is the 12.9-inch iPad, and this is what I do all of my photo editing with. I'll typically use the Adobe suite like Lightroom, Photoshop, Photoshop Mix, Fix, and everything else that they have. I also have the newest Apple Pencil to go along with that, and this makes editing very easy. I also have one of their rubberized cases on here with the magnetic closure. You can set this thing up and edit just like this, or you can actually lay this thing down flat like this if you're gonna be drawing in something like Procreate. That's how I make a lot of my designs, like my logo that you see all of the time, and I actually have some new ones coming out soon, which you guys will see. Now moving further down this outer flap here, I have a few mesh pockets filled with random bits, like an SD adapter for the iPad. This is a USB-C connector, which everything should be going to in the future. Hopefully, Apple, please. And then I also have a 5 terabyte SanDisk drive, I believe is what this one was. Every YouTube video I have ever uploaded to the main channel or the second channel, there's over 500 videos now. All of them are on this right now. Then moving down to the next pocket, I have this little bag right here, which I bought a while ago, and it is super handy. This is coming from Peak Design. I honestly don't remember the name of this thing, but it's super convenient, especially when you're walking around at trade shows. If you're out shooting videos or photos somewhere in nature, maybe you're riding a skateboard or a one wheel like I tend to do. I use this little adapter right here. This screws into the bottom of your camera. This can screw onto your belt line or even the strap of a backpack similar to this. And then these two things simply couple up just like that. The connection is super strong. I legit carry around a DSLR camera with all of that weight, a 16 to 35 millimeter lens on my belt line. Gotta have a good belt to do that, but this is something that I always bring with me and it comes in handy a lot. Now, speaking of carrying solutions, also in that pocket I have this, which I literally just got on Amazon today. It's a nylon stretchy camera cable holder. I never really used a camera strap. However, since I've been taking a lot more photos recently, there will be times when I'm going out just to simply shoot photos. So I'm thinking maybe I will throw this on my camera and it will give me a better way to sort of carry it around my body. Something like this will help a lot, especially when you have some big lenses like we're going to be showing you here in a second. And then to finish off the mesh pockets right here, I have another piece of this entire camera bag kit. If you went with the bundle, this is a simple SD card holder. Has a zipper on the back here, which I'm not utilizing as of right now. I have some smaller SD cards there and all of my other SD cards. Has a magnetic closure. Like I mentioned, you're gonna be seeing some more magnets throughout this video. Now previously I was using sort of a hard shell clam style case, but I figured since I'm going all Nomatic and the Peter Mckinnon series, might as well switch over to this too. So all my SD cards are living in there, and all of my cameras that you will see in this bag all have fresh batteries and fresh SD cards in them. I have everything in this bag ready to go on a moment's notice, and you should too. Now we're moving into the actual big body of this bag. Again, in no particular order, we're gonna start right down here. Camera charger. This charges the camera batteries. I have quite a few of these, but this is gonna be the one that I'm actually keeping in this bag to travel around with. Right next to that, I have my miniature lighting solution. This is a pretty expensive mobile video light, photo light, and it's coming from Aperture. Pete was actually the one who recommended this light to me, and it is super useful. I've been using it quite a lot. It has a ton of adjustments. You can change the actual color temperature of it. You can change the intensity of it. And then there are a million different settings. You can make it look like police lights, red and blue flashing. You can actually make this thing look like it's a fire. Now, if you couldn't see me sitting here doing this, does it look like I'm staring at a fire? I don't know. Pretty cool light though. I've definitely been using this thing quite a lot. There are magnets on the back of it, so you can stick it to like the hood of a car or something like that. And then also in this pouch, they have a silicone diffuser, charge cable, and then some Velcro 3M sticky stuff in there. Again, expensive, but super useful. I charged it once and I have not charged it since, so it has good battery life. Just to the side of that, we have my preferred microphone, the actual microphone that I'm talking into right now, and this is a Rode Video Micro with a dead cat. These things are inexpensive. They come with their little shock mounts so you don't get any rattle from camera noises when you're flying around on a skateboard or bumping around in a car. It has places to keep the cable tidy. I simply put the cable in the back there, wrap this around the front, and plug it into the side of my camera. Love this thing. It doesn't take batteries. The sound, it sounds pretty good, and I don't have to worry about running out of batteries all the time. So I have quite a few of these and I use them all the time. Now for the good stuff. What camera am I shooting on nowadays? It's not the one that I'm talking into. This is actually an old camera, but I have been shooting on the Canon EOS R for quite a while now. This camera right here, if I throw my Rode mic on here, this is essentially the same setup that I'm talking into right now, but the mirrorless version of this camera. And then for the lens, I sort of have the equivalent to what I'm talking into right here, but this is the RF version. I completely switched out to the RF lens series, and this one happens to be a 15-35 L series. I love this thing. This is my dedicated setup right now. If I'm walking around out in public, filming pretty much anything, I can use this exact setup for pretty much everything that I do. Now after that tangent, we might as well move on to the lenses that I'm using. So my main lens is the 15-35 2.8 L, and then this right here would be my secondary lens. As you may have seen on Instagram, I did finally acquire like the holy trinity of lenses, especially with the new RF mounts. So the next in that line would be right here, the 24-70. This is a good mid-range lens. You could still vlog with it if you wanted to, but it also lets you get in pretty tight with that little bit of telephoto right there. If I could only have one lens out of my 3-lens system, I would probably opt for this because it is a good mid-range. However, I still consider this like my primary lens over here. So then to complete that trinity right here, I just acquired this the other week. This is the RF 70-200. It's a 2.8 L lens, and this thing is killer. Now I have not shot a whole lot with the previous versions of these lenses. However, I've definitely handled them and they are much bigger and heavier. There are so many good videos out there already talking about the pros and cons to each of these, but I am very happy with this new lens. It's got a lock right here because it extends just like that. It has focus adjustments, stabilizer, and 3 different modes to stabilize. It has that clicky ring on the back, which I don't really use except for on this one. Sometimes I will have that set to the ISO. But it has all of the quick adjustments, a big, massive hood that is white to match this lens, and there's even a little door right here. That way if you have a variable ND filter in there, you can pop that open and adjust it on the fly. Now, if you're looking for more information on all of these lenses, I would suggest checking out people like Peter Mckinnon and Frono's Photo. He did a killer video on this lens, and I learned a lot from both of those guys. So thanks to you dudes for making those videos, and that is basically all of my legit expensive camera gear. Now the rest of the stuff that I have in my bag are all accessories. They're either camera accessories for the lenses or they are secondary cameras, accessories to making videos. So right here also in the camera bundle we have this sort of hard-sided container, nice zipper on there, and this is like my action camera bag. So here I have a GoPro 7 Black. I've been using this to motovlog and ski and pretty much everything that you see here on the channel. When I don't want to carry this thing around, chances are I will be pulling one of these out. And then if I'm going into the water, I also have a Hero 5 Session right here and a little floaty case. I have a bunch of mounts and everything else that goes along with these cameras in here as well. I got charging cables in the back. I also have a little charging brick for the Hero 7 batteries. And then I have a head mount and some more sticky mounts right here. Now I'm not gonna lie, I'm not a huge GoPro fan, but they do get you by in a pinch. I've had a lot of issues with like firmware upgrades and things like that, just kind of the camera is getting a little buggy. But for the most part, I have captured a lot of footage with them over the years, and because of that, that's kind of how I got my start. I was exclusively filming skiing videos in the past with GoPros, so I keep those things in my arsenal and they come in handy more often than not. Now next up for the containers within a container, right here I have my variable ND filter, and that's all that I have in here. I should really invest in a really nice set of polarizers and filters and stuff like that to protect my lenses. However, for the most part, I'm always running them with a hood, which not only protects the lens from light flares and stuff like that, but it protects it from being bumped into anything. I should also be running really high quality filters to match this glass, but I haven't gotten around to that yet. Right now I have a Tiffin variable ND filter. Luckily this thing fits on both the 16 to 35 and also the 24 to 70. Pop that thing on there and I can adjust it just like that. This thing comes in handy, however it doesn't really match the quality of glass that comes with these lenses. It gets me by in a pinch though. Next up, another container in the container. We have a little battery storage compartment. And one thing that I thought was really cool in here, they've also included these battery change reminder decals. It's basically Pete's little pirate logo there, and you put them on the bottom of your battery. That way when you put them back in the case here, it will show that it's dead. I can't tell you how many times I've went out to film something or shoot some photos, throw what I thought was a fresh battery into the camera, and it was dead. That's a good way to ruin trips when you're out filming, so I'm going to end up using these in the future, and I can already tell that they're going to be handy. Now I have a mixture of the regular Canon batteries in here, but I probably should invest in more because I also have these like cheap knockoff ones that I found on Amazon. They work for the most part, however they're not quite as good as the legit Canon batteries, so I will probably end up purchasing some more of those in the future. And now we are moving on to the last container in a container, and this one is super interesting to me. So this is the little cube bag that fits in the top portion of the bag, and right now I have this thing purposed as my drone container. Now if you've been following the channel for a little while, you will know that I sort of downgraded my drone from the Mavic Pro down to the Mavic little mini guy right here. Now for me, this thing has been great so far, although I haven't been using it a whole lot. I've maybe flown it like 4 or 5 times. Once I'm able to start traveling again though, I will try to incorporate more drone videos into these videos that you're watching every week. And then in here, I also have the Fly More kit, so I have all the charging cables stored in the back here, battery compartment, and I can charge all of these at the same time. The controller, of course, holds my iPhone, and the thumbsticks also pop off and store in the controller, so it folds up nice and fits in there perfectly. And then I also have some replacement blades in here in case I crash this thing. Really don't want to crash this though. Now what's super cool about this little cube storage compartment is that when you zip this thing up, you could really throw any extra camera gear that you want in there. But now if I unzip the top, pop this open, this turns into a secondary backpack. So this goes back to what I was talking about in the beginning, how this bag is good for traveling. I can't tell you how many times I was carrying around a dedicated camera bag, like testing it out and trying to make it work. However, I don't want to carry around all of this stuff with me all the time. So imagine I fly down to Nashville for the weekend and I'm going out on the town. I don't want to empty out all of this stuff that I don't really need, like my computer and this light and things like that. If I know I'm going out for only a few hours and I want to have just a specific set of gear with me, I can simply pop this thing out of that bag and then go around with this really lightweight sort of day pack. The quality on this obviously matches that of the larger bag. It has a sort of like weather resistant material on there in case you get caught out in the rain. There are a few little mesh zipper pockets on the inside here, and this is such a cool touch. This was one of the reasons I was so stoked on this whole camera system, because now this will give me a solution to that problem that I've been having in the past. When maybe I'm flying somewhere and I don't want to carry around all of my gear, I can pop this out and I have a secondary bag right in there. It really takes up like no extra space either. Now, speaking of traveling with this whole camera bag system, there's actually another compartment to this bag that I haven't even shown you guys yet. So let me load up all of this gear back into the bag again, and we will sort of wrap things up with showing the travel functions of this thing. Simple as that. Now, I know what some of you guys are probably thinking, or something that people are already commenting. Damn, Talon, that is a lot of stuff. Yes, it is a lot of stuff. However, like I mentioned, this is an entire camera gear loadout. I can work out of this bag and have absolutely everything I need and then some. This is not something that I'm going to be carrying around with me everywhere I go. However, it's mainly made for traveling. I can take this entire bag out to the van, and then I have an entire mobile studio right here at my fingertips. Now, say I'm flying somewhere for the weekend, that's where this pocket right here comes into play. I haven't even put anything in here yet, but we still have some more mesh zipper compartments. This one opens all the way up. You could throw some t-shirts in there, maybe a pair of pants. You could use these mesh pockets for toiletries or socks, underwear, stuff like that. We have a few more bungee tie downs right here, and then a main one in the middle. So you can pack out your clothing, put this strap around just like that, and cinch everything down. Now, it may look like there's not a whole lot of space here. Let's actually try this out. Here are just 3 t-shirts. Say I'm going away for the weekend and I want to have a change of clothing for Friday, Saturday, Sunday. There's also room for socks and boxers and everything else. You guys get the point. While I can close this up, might get a little bit tight. Let's actually make it so that I can't fit anything else in here. 6, 7 t-shirts, how about that? Whole week worth of t-shirts. I can still zip this thing up. All right, and a hoodie, and we're gonna roll it up all funny. Horrible packing skills there, to make sure that I won't be able to zip this thing up. There we go. Okay, so right there, it's starting to get a little bit difficult. So you got a ton of clothing in here because you're going away for a week and you're shooting a documentary down in South America. If I reach for this little zipper pull right over here, that expands this entire bag like 4 inches, and it allows me to zip this entire thing up. No problem at all. So if that's not impressive as a bag, I don't know what is. It's like the perfect combination for camera enthusiasts, people who use cameras and do stuff in media for a living. For the people like myself who create YouTube videos and you're always on the go, flying around different places, you wanna have all your gear with you and then some. The kitchen sink in here. This whole bag system is pretty cool, and that is what is in my camera bag for spring of 2020. So I know that was a ton of information, and like I mentioned, if you want to find out anything else about this whole bag system or anything that I showed you inside of here, I will leave links in the description down below. You can find out more specs and details on everything. If you have any specific questions that you want me to answer, you can let me know in the comments down below, and I will try to answer all of the frequently asked questions. Gotta give a huge thanks again to Pete and the guys at Nomatic for sending this bag out. I'm looking forward to testing it out, and maybe I will bring you guys a update video in a month or so after I actually get to use this thing in the real world. So that's all for today. I think I'm ready to go on a full week-long adventure down to South America. So if you're new to the channel, consider clicking subscribe. The South America documentary comes out in about a month and a half. I'm gonna get to work. I'll talk to you guys in the next one.